So Tycoon had some horrible optimization issues for quite a while, but ever since the latest update I've seen a lot of players complaining that their FPS has been getting worse and worse. Therefore in this video guys I'd like to make a guide for you all on how to get the bestest of performance possible on Tycoon, because a lot of these things are kind of also your fault. However, most of it is the game's fault, of course. But anyway, first of all, before we even start with any tips, I'd like to quickly run you guys through the main issues and why Tycoon is running at such low FPS. Well, there's two main reasons why. First of all, Tycoon as a whole has some really bad optimizations with mainly the bases themselves. I don't know if you noticed, but the more servers that you find which are filled up, the less FPS you're getting. Well, that's because the game has to load in more bases, and bases are the most unoptimized part of this game. And the second reason why is because there's a lot of vehicles kind of fighting all at the same time, such as planes. The performance itself does get worse and worse because there's different explosions, different effects that the game has to load in. But anyway, let's go ahead and actually move into a guide to improve your FPS the best way possible. And with this video, I will be assuming that you're using PC. However, some of these tips can also apply to mobile. Let's just jump right into it. So first of all, what you're gonna want to make sure is that you do not have too many things open in the background, and so that your RAM isn't actually used up all too much, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but Tycoon does actually use quite a lot of RAM. So depending on how much RAM you have on your PC, I assume that most of you will be having 8 to 16 gigs. You're definitely gonna be running into the issue of your RAM being completely filled up, which is why you're gonna want to basically turn off everything. And right here as an example, we got Steam. You will not want to be closing the application for just pressing X. You're actually just going to want to press Alt F4, or you're going to be wanting to move into your processes. And essentially what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to press End Task, because this fully closes the application instead of keeping it idle in the background. Now the next thing what you're going to want to do is actually head into your PC settings and search for display, and once you do this, you're going to want to scroll down and go inside of your graphics menu. And once you do this, you're gonna be wanting to search for Roblox, and once you do that, you click on Roblox, and you're gonna want to click on GPU preferences, and you have 3 different options: let Windows aside, power saving, and high performance. And what you're gonna want to do here is basically setting your Roblox to run on the highest performance possible, so you basically know that you're maximizing on your FPS with your graphics card. Now the next thing what you're gonna want to do is also head into your settings and make sure that your Roblox is not currently gonna be capped at 60 FPS. Because a lot of people would like to have it capped, and you might be wondering why the FPS is so low. Well, this is mainly the reason why. Everybody runs Roblox on default 60 FPS. However, if you're running below 60 FPS, which I assume you are, you're fine. This is just something I needed to make sure. Along with this, if you head into your graphics quality, you never want to be running the game on 10 graphics settings. You want to always be running it on 9. And the reason why is because 9 and 10 almost have no graphic differences. However, if you're running it on 9, there's a lot of things which will end up being much more optimized. So I really recommend you guys to be running Roblox on those settings instead of the 10. Now the next thing what you're going to want to be doing is actually running Roblox through the website and not through the app itself. The app that you're going to be able to get is usually the Amazon app or a application from the Microsoft Store. You don't want to be downloading or using Roblox from there. You want to be straight away just turning on the game throughout the website itself. It is really important because the website Roblox is much better optimized. Now for the next step, you're once again going to want to head into your display settings on your PC, and once you do this, you're gonna want to head down into advanced display, and once you go down there, you're gonna want to make sure that your refresh rate is set to the highest refresh rate possible. For example, my 4K monitor, I am only able to get a refresh rate of 60 Hz. If you have options that are much higher, you're gonna want to have that on the highest option and not on the 30, which is the default. Now for some laptop users, another thing which you really want to make sure, which is obviously common sense by now, but if you don't know this, it's also important to have your laptop fully plugged in, because if it's not, you're not going to be running on the highest performance, because your PC is going to be trying to save energy or electricity as much as possible. But anyway, the one last tip which I have for you, which is really not going to be that helpful, however it does help from time to time, is you're really going to want to mess with your graphics settings and see what works for you. If you think that some things are turned on and they shouldn't be, well, you're going to want to mess with that and see how your performance is impacted. And the way in which you could check your FPS is going to be for Shift F5. Okay, so now that we're basically done with every tip, there is one last thing which I'm left to explain to you. Roblox itself is a CPU heavy application, which means that no matter how good your graphics card is, if your CPU is very heavily behind, it means that your War Tycoon is going to be running at extremely low FPS. As an example, if you do plan on buying a better CPU to run Roblox, I do not suggest you guys to be running a CPU which has a higher core count, because higher core count usually translates to lower individual speed. Roblox itself usually likes to use around 1 to 2 cores of your CPU, so you have to make sure that your core itself individually is extremely strong. For example, I'm currently running at 5.22 GHz, but that's simply because I am using the best CPU in the world that there is right now for gaming. You don't need to be getting something like this, however I do suggest if you're going to be buying a new CPU, please purchase one which is higher individual core speed rather than one that's used for multitasking. I don't think you're gonna be needing that much. But anyway, for the time being, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Do let me know in the comment section down below if these tips actually ended up helping you. I really hope that they did. I couldn't have done really a much better guide than this. There's probably some other technical things which you could try out, so I still suggest you guys to be searching for extra guides. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.